Shall we start? Let's start the prayers. Om Gyana Shri Chaitanya Vande Shri Guru Shri Shri Guru Shri Guru Sagradatam Sadhanam Tamsajevam Sadvaitam Savadutam Adhikana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahaganam Dalita Shri Vishakha Namasya Namo Krishna Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Shri Mate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamini Namaste Saraswati Deve Bhagavani Prachari Nirvishesha Shukrani Pashyati Deshatari Namo Mahamadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratvashe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindaneshwari Vishwabhanu Vasudhe Devi Pranamami Devi Priye Dinachalakasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balabhadra Subhadrayam Shrijagannathaya Te Namaha Panchakalpatarubhasya Prakasadurevacham Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Hare Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Upam karoti vacharam kumbham lagayate, yat kripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam, Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Vishwaram. Einstein used to say that spirituality without science is lame. And science without spirituality is blind. Now the question is, of the two, which is a better situation? A lame man or a blind man? Lame man is better or blind man is better? There are only two choices. Lame man, blind man. How many of you feel lame man? How many of you feel blind man? Nobody's having feelings to it. So which one is the better off relatively? Lame, blind? Saying blind is better. Blind is better.
No, both are not better.
You have only two choices. Which of the two is better than the other relatively? A lame man is better or a blind man is better?
Lane. Both have one different.
Or in science, we very much equate to speed. It is very much equated to speed. A lot of speed, you can go at a very fast pace. But the fallacy or the deficiency in modern day scientific efforts is that although there is a lot of speed, there is lack of directionality. That is why it is described as a blind man. Very high speed, very fast runner, lot of strength, lot of energy, but direction blind. So high speed, high energy, completely blind. There is a high probability of an accident. Very high probability of an accident. That is why of the two, the lame man, blind man, a lame man is better. Why the lame man is better? Because at least there is surety of reaching the goal. As a blind man, there is no question of reaching the goal. How does he reach the goal? He is blind, and there is high energy, and there is high speed. He will bang here, bang there, and explode. And that is what we see in the modern day world, the scenario in this modern day world. That externally there is a lot of hustle and bustle, externally there is a lot of razzle and dazzle, externally things appear very spick and span, externally everybody appears very evolved, the suit, boot, coat everybody is wearing. But as they say, there are implosions within and explosions without. Mind, it's exploding. And that behavior is such a way that outside also everything is exploding. So that's why the modern day picture is very nicely summarized. Where Martin Luther King Jr. says, in this today's world there are guided missiles, misguided men. That's the world we are in. Guided missiles, very precise. Chromos, you can hit any point in Pakistan. Guided missiles, misguided men. Chetan coined many similar phrases. He elaborates further. He says there are smiling faces, crying hearts. Modern day world. Similarly, there are broad roads, narrow minds. Roads are very broad, minds are very narrow. In a similar fashion, there are artificial rains, there are imaginary gains and real pains. That's the kind of world we are living in. Why, despite of so much effort, despite of so much energy being expended, so much of intellectual energy, dexterity, hard work, still the situation is very shallow, very hollow? Because of the blindness. And therefore, if we want to derive tangible meaning in life, it is very important that there needs to be a synthesis of both science and spirituality. That can lead to a very meaningful, fruitful, and auspicious end. Otherwise, we simply drive on high speed, high energy, loss of vision. And the situation is, Martin Luther King says, that the means, modern day world, the means which we use to attain the ends, those very means which we use to attain the end, those very means outdistance the ends. Welcome to 2025. That's where we are. That the means which we are using to achieve the end, those very means are taking those ends even more far off. Which means means are blind. Which means loss of vision. That's all it means. So now the question which comes is, why modern day scientific endeavors are lacking vision? There is a reason, or there are multiple reasons. Precisely, we will touch on two reasons. The first one is because Jai Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharaj Sudarshan Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The first one is because the modern day science is only focusing on one dimension of a three-dimensional reality. If reality is three-dimensional, so if we model reality as three-dimensional, then the modern day mechanistic science only focuses on one dimension, on the three-dimensional reality. And the other two dimensions are, there is no understanding balance. So if it is a three-dimensional world, and if somebody is only focusing on one dimension, or somebody only has a one-dimensional vision, then in such a person's purview or perception, what the world is like? If the world is only one-dimensional, that is the vision of a person or an entity, how the world will look like? Straight line? And different objects in the world, how they will look like? Dots and segments, line segments, is it that? So there are going to be dots and line segments, that's all. If the world is, there are going to be dots 9 segments. So segment and dot, that's all. And nothing else will be there. Because one has only captured single dimension of reality. So not what more one can achieve. Nothing much one can achieve. One can only achieve some dots and segments. That's all. So how exciting life is going to be? Where is the variety coefficient? Where is the variegated coefficient? So in a similar light, so we see that's why we see in this world, now Prabhupada explains that in this world people simply keep tossing in their state from hankering to lamentation, lamentation to hankering. Either it is a love story or a hate story. Hankering, lamentation. Both are shackles. Two sides of the same coin. So person doesn't have much variety because one is only in a world which is one is only tottering around or loitering around in a world which is only two-dimensional. Oh sorry, one-dimensional. There's no much variety. Now suppose the world becomes two-dimensional. So what one perceives now in the world?
Sheets.
Plane, one can achieve plane now. And what kind of objects one can perceive now? Definitely line one can perceive and
2D objects.
Line, rectangle,
rectangle, circle,
circle,
yes, circle, polygons, no? All that one can experience. Is life going to be better now? Is there more variety in life now?
yes,
Is there more understanding in life?
yes,
Is there more depth in life now?
yes.
Is it not? Two-dimensional personality is much better off. Is it not? But still the two-dimensional personality cannot get complete understanding. There are only polygons and lines and circles. Obviously you can have a parallelepiped, you can have a rhombus, you can have a parallelogram, you know. That's all there, no? But now a person or an entity is three-dimensional, and how do they see the world as? A cube, and how do they see the objects as? 3D, how objects become now? What all objects can be seen? Sphere one can see, right? Cuboid, ellipsoid, seesaid, you know? So many things one can see. So, is the world much better now? Is the understanding much deeper now? That's the idea. So, we see matter is just one part of reality. So, if one is simply fussing around in matter, one will not be able to get a better picture of this world. And the picture of the world what we get is very much related to the depth of our knowledge, and it is very much related to the amount of control we have over the parameters around. A person is only one-dimensional, what does the person understand? Nothing. Even if the person is two-dimensional, what does the person understand? Who is a two-dimensional person? For practical purposes, who is a two-dimensional entity? Suppose an ant. An ant for all practical purposes is a two-dimensional candidate. Is it not? Can the ant walking around here, can that ant perceive that this is a temple hall? This first floor, this VTW going on, is Lord Jagannath here? Can the ant perceive? Can the ant have any understanding?
No.
But okay, very nice Bhagavatam class going on. Nice or not nice, I don't know. But the Bhagavatam class is going on. After that, nice prasad is there. That is the guarantee. You know? So, can the ant understand? No. So therefore there is limitation which is created because the perception is not complete, there is no depth of understanding, and therefore the experience is very limited. Now how does this experience translate into a state of helplessness or into a state of suffering? Is like this. Suppose, now you have seen that IIT, that 2.2 circle, where the hospitals are, so the 2.2 circle, both sides there are trees, there is, and you can walk around, have a nice walk. Suppose an ant is walking, she's also doing 2.2, the ant. Now the ant is doing 2.2, it's evening time. In the evening time there are street lights. So suppose the ant is passing by an area, the street light is flickering. The street light is flickering. That means it's switching on, switching off, switching on, switching off, flickering. On off, on off, on off, off off, on off, off, like that. So it's on off, flickering. Now the street light is flickering on off. When the street light is off, can the ant perceive darkness? Yes. Is it not? When the light is on, can the ant perceive light? Yes. So two-dimensional entity can perceive lightness and darkness. Is it not? And now the question is, when there is darkness, can the ant ever understand why is the darkness coming from? Where it is coming from, why is it coming? Can the ant ever understand that? Can the ant ever understand how to repair or how to set right the darkness? Even if it is a scientist ant, can it do that? Even if it is a Nobel laureate ant, can it do that? Can it do that? Even if it is Nobel laureate, still it cannot do that. Is it not? Because the ant is a two-dimensional entity. A two-dimensional entity can never understand a problem which is arising in the third dimension. But the effect of the problem can be perceived. Although what is the problem? It is beyond the capacity of the two-dimensional entity. And forget about solving the problem. Is it not? In a three-dimensional world, if an entity is two-dimensional, then that entity has to suffer more, right or wrong? Because the entity has very less parameters of understanding and very less parameter control. Does it make sense? This example, everyone, it's clear? The example. So in a three-dimensional world, if the entity is two-dimensional, the entity will be abruptly suffering, not understanding why is it happening. Does it not happen to human beings like that also? People are wondering, why am I suffering? Why it is happening to me? I am working hard, I am a upright person, Every Durga Puja I go to Kali temple and give 100 rupees donation, what's the problem then? So, right? So the problem is that the world is three-dimensional, the entity is two-dimensional. Now imagine, the reality of the absolute world is three-dimensional, and we are just limiting ourselves to one-dimensional entities. And that is why people are wondering, why am I not happy? If so much of technological gadgets are being manufactured every single day, if so many research papers are being published every single day, why the index of our life remains the same? Now just imagine how many research papers are being published every single day. IIT produces 1000 publications a year. Kharagpur. So that means if you sum up maybe all IITs together, maybe publishing at least 15,000 publications a year. यानी कि साल में मतलब महीने में 1000, महीने में 1000 all IITs together, all engineering colleges of India together, much more. तो 1000 publication मतलब every day how much? 1000 a month means how much every day? 3 to 4 publications a month. Per day. ये तो IIT है. All the world universities कर दिया तो 2-3 डजन तो हो जाएगा, 4 डजन, 5 डजन. Is it not? 5 dozen publications every day. Do any of us experience that day by day our life is becoming more exciting, more better? है ना? ऐसा experience होता है ना? All of us have also lived, no? All of you have lived 18 years of your life at least, no? Almost, is it not? मेरा तो double हो गया ना? So do we ever felt that okay, when we were from age 10 years 12 days old to 10 years 13 days old, like 6 publication worth of like 50 publication worth of happiness index बढ़ गया, and the next day we get up, the happiness index और बढ़ गया. Do you ever feel a change in that? No, not at all. Is it not? Rather, as we are growing, life is becoming more miserable. Is it not? In one sense, children are good because they forget very easily, and adults, it becomes very difficult. So there's no much change which is happening because we are in a one dimension of reality. So what is the second dimension of reality? Matter is first dimension of reality. The second dimension of reality, the Lord explains in Bhagavad Gita, is spirit. Atma Tattva, spirit. That is the second dimension of reality. So as soon as we add spirit, so immediately life becomes two dimensional. Matter, spirit. Matter, spirit. Matter and spirit. So when we don't add this second dimension, then why there are problems in life? We can see the maximum problems in people's life is because of frustrated relationships. Relationship cause the maximum problems. Bhai, husband, wife, Nowadays world has become very dangerous. Sometimes the husband kills the wife, sometimes the wife kills the husband. Every day different types of news are coming. Sometimes they engage the child to kill the other fellow. Very dangerous. World is becoming. So relationships. People are frustrated at the calling of the relationships. The maximum amount of misery and suffering and agony because of relationships. अभी ये relationships का science क्यों नहीं समझ में आता है? Why do we not understand the science of relationships? How to deal with people? Because हमारा तो दुनिया one dimensional ही है. उसमें सब कुछ matter ही है. Is it not? So because people are expert at manipulating matter. The same person who is expert at manipulating matter, when he is put between people, other people, अभी matter नहीं है, there are people. There are people. That is spirit soul है अंदर, And the spirit soul is under, the person doesn't know how to handle because it's a different tattva altogether. It has different laws. It has different ways of behavior. So people may be expert in writing programs. People may be expert in doing chemical reactions. When they are put between other people, they don't know how to handle. So they handle each other like they will handle a Python program. Then they will say, okay, display the result, output, versus saying, नहीं मैं नहीं बताऊँ. ऐसे अरे मैं कमांड दे रहा हूँ तुमको, तुम बता नहीं रहे, शर्म नहीं आता है ना? नहीं मैं नहीं बताऊँगा ना. Like that, isn't that? So the persons are in topmost programmer have won the best Amazon, the best employee award, Is it not? So this is the point. We cannot use spirit soul the same way we use matter. And because people misuse, when this using spirit soul like matter is misuse of spirit soul or abuse of spirit soul. And this kind of abuse of soul and abuse of people around is what is creating problems. So we don't know how to handle it. That means it's a complete different dimension altogether. Is it not? That's the second dimension. So hence proof, the second dimension. The second dimension of reality. So Radhanath Maharaj explains what is the problem in this world. The problem in this world is, Radha Maharaj says, things are meant to be used and people are meant to be loved. But the modern day affairs of the world, we use people and we love things. And that is the cause of our misery. Is it not? So the sheer cause of misery is because we use people and we love things. उल्टा है क्योंकि second dimension है ही नहीं installed. So spirit is the second dimension of reality, and that is why the knowledge of soul is essential for us to give us proper direction of life. So without it, life is very much lopsided. That is why without a complete understanding of reality, life is very much directionless. वो directionless, purposelessness कैसे आता है? Because we don't have the complete picture only. We are staying in the one-dimensional world of matter. इसीलिए modern day efforts of science become directionless, and therefore they create a great amount of suffering. Like say for example, there was one of our devotees. So he was from Andhra. He got into electrical 4-year course. Jai Shri Jagannath, Jai Subhadra Maharaj, Sudarshan Maharaj, Shri Prabhupada ki. So he was a 9-pointer, very good in academics. And right from his childhood, school days, he was very excited about science and technology, and he wanted to do something good for the society through science, through technology, Many genuine people have this kind of a feeling, So he had a earnest and deep feeling like this. So he was very excited for JEE, Narayana Chaitanya coaching he did, those type of coachings are there. Then he came to IIT, he was very excited, So he was wondering, when will that day come when my hands will play with the technology and I will do something, I will make something for the society. Something very nice for the society, something very good, something which can have some impact. So when he came to first year, he realized, okay, first year you don't know much. You have to learn the subject, you have to specialize. Then only you can produce something good. So he was very focused in his studies, he was a 9-pointer all through, He became a devotee also. So, but while being a devotee, he was maintaining his studies, rather he was excelling, very nicely doing. But his heart was hard. He had an excitement, he was waiting. So first year are all common subjects to create a foundation, basically to create a warm-up effect. Second year, the actual subjects of the department are taught. So the actual play starts in the second year. First year is warm-up, second year it starts. Third year, the main subjects, the advanced subjects are there, And third year one get knowledge. Real depth one is getting in the third year. Therefore, sometimes in many departments, third year is most hectic. Because the real crunch, munch punch, is there in third year. So by the time one comes to fourth year, one has learned something. And therefore, fourth year is the BTech project. Now, coursework is less in fourth year. BTech project is more, now you can do some contribution. You can make something now. Because you have learned something. Therefore, internship is also after third year. At least one learns something, then one can do something like that. So he was waiting for this fourth year stage to come, so that because he came to understand, okay, I'll get a BTech project, and I'll make something with technology, I'll use it and I'll use my hand and I'll make something very nice and I will offer it to the society. Like that he was having a hankering, and you see how many years he was yearning for it. Now finally that day came, and because he was a 9-pointer, very good in academics, he could choose any professor, So he got the best professor allotted to him for the BTP, the BTech project guide, So he was so excited the day he was going for his first meeting to the professor. He was, jumping up and down, I'll get some project and all that, And we saw him, he was so ecstatic, he was so happy, he was so bubbling, he was so enthusiastic. The evening he came back, he was so morose, As a full air deflated, पूरी हवा निकल गई थी, Just, चेहरे पे 12 बजे हुए थे, So hallucinated personality, And we're telling Hari Bol, And he's Bol, So, and we were wondering, what happened, And he told him, Prabhu, what happened to you, You were so excited, you were about to get a BTech project, the technology, the punch, for the society, this and that. So what project you got, Did you get anything? Or did the professor reject you or something, or what happened, Did you get a project? So So he said, yeah, I got the project, And he started moving his head like this, And he said, then why are you morose? Then he told me, that is why I am morose, no? So poor fellow was really morose by the project what he had got, And we were wondering, kya ho gaya isko, So requested him, can you not tell some details, So we understand why, what is happening, we are able to see, but why it has happened, that we can understand. So he started telling, Prabhuji, everything is a waste. Then he started telling that, Prabhuji, you know how hard I worked to come into IIT. He said, I was from a village background, I'm from a village background, not knowing proper English also, And still, struggled, this, struggle, like that. And I came, and then also I continued that struggle, getting 9 point electrical, everything, And I was thinking I'll do some good with technology and good and help the world and make something better for the world. And I was hankering for this day when I will get some project to work. But what a nasty and waste project I have got. I am feeling my life is a waste. What is the use of all that endeavor? What is the use of all that hard work? So we understood something serious. So we are hearing and then we are requesting, okay, so what is the project you got? He said this is a multi-crore sponsored project, very sophisticated, by the government of India. So what is the project? This project is it's a very sophisticated electronic circuitry project, filled with sensor systems, IoT, digital, field programmable gate arrays and so on and so forth, very low programming and so many integrations. What it will do, if you put a fish on an input tray, there is an input tray in that particular machine. You put a fish on that input tray, on a digital screen, it will give you the freshness index of the fish. This is a multi-crore sponsored project by the Ministry of Fisheries. You put a fish on the tray and it is going to give you on a digital LED screen a lot of complicated processing with sensor systems and all that, a lot of microprogramming, very low programming, field programmable gate arrays and so on. And will give you the freshness index of the fish. And this devotee was crying. He said, what a nasty project I have got. All I endeavored for this. He said, Prabhuji, even a dog can do this. A dog can also sniff. Achha nahi. Mind it is a multi-crore project. No? And multi-crore projects. And so this is called a directionlessness. There is an acute lack of direction. Sophistication, very solid. Complication, very solid. Another devotee, he got a project. This was also a multi-crore industry project. Not ministry project, but industry project. What is the project? So it was a multi-department project, which incorporate principles of fluid dynamics, these that lot of things, So what he's supposed to do? What he was supposed to do was that there are the luxury soaps. अभी soap तो 20 रुपए का मिल जाता है, चलता भी अच्छा है ना. What is the luxury soap may cost as high as 1,000 rupees also, one piece. उसमें what is the differentiating factor? One of the differentiating factors is the luxury soap. You put it on the body with water, it leads to the formation of bubble. Bubble आ जाता है ना. So this devotee's research was bubble ऐसा आना चाहिए that the bubble material, the bubble should be such that its longevity time should be very long. Multi-crore projects. Longevity time of the soap bubble should be very long. उससे क्या होगा? Suppose you are putting it here and the water is there, and then the bubble is formed. अभी bubble form किया, so bubble is longevity time is very long, यानी कि फूटने वाला नहीं है. So bubble is formed here, and then it will jump on the nose. Person can like it, huh? And then from the nose it will come here in the hand, huh? And then it can come here, huh? And it will come here, and it will bounce here, huh? And then it will bounce here, huh? And you can play around like that. Huh? So the point is, all that hard work of 20 years, 21 years, 22 years, is it worth just making bubbles for some fellows for their titillation, like that. So this is the point. Similarly, when I went to Melbourne, University of Melbourne is Australia's number one university, world ranked 30, around 30, 35, that's where they are sitting. Good university, state-of-the-art facilities there. I saw there is a very hype science competition which takes place in Australia, entire Australia. And scientists from many departments, chemistry, chemical, biotech, biology, bioengineering, many departments, agriculture, food, mechanical, water. So many departments, scientists, they hanker for this. It's a $1 million competition, annual competition. They look up to this competition. Millions and billions of dollars are there, with the government, federal government, Australia, Australian Federal Council, puts this much award. People are hankering up to it. So what is this competition all about? The competition is the scientists have to create, they have to produce, they have to manufacture, they have to produce a new kind of a wine, W-I-N-E, wine, a new kind of wine whose taste is a plus rock and whose toxicity index is a little less than the existing standard. That's a competition. People are dying for it. Scientists, they're dying for it to produce a kind of wine, and therefore I could relate it. So can you imagine $1 billion grant? I believe Australia ranks number one in wines. Why? Because the very first day I joined, Melbourne University. So I was in the department. I was in a lab of ultra fast spectroscopy, microscopy. It very much mixes quantum physics and quantum chemistry. Like that. So I was in that lab. The first day I went, I joined at 11 o'clock, and 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, they said, okay, come, let's go. I said, what, where to go, They said, no, we are going for a party, I became very happy. I thought, oh, because I had joined the party, And this postdoc lady, she told me, no, we are anyways having it. You happen to drop by, So I got humbled, Anyhow, we went for a party, 20 people in the team, and there was a big, the table booking was there, the lounge, and all 20 people's seats, and they had pre-ordered what is going to be there. Everything was out there on the, There were 15 kinds of drinks in jars, 15 kinds of drinks were there, all different colors. I can only say color coding because I had no identification of what they were. So therefore I can only speak about color coding. It had 15 all different kinds of colors. Black, brown, yellow, blue, pink, red, maroon, cyan. 15 kinds of different colors and shades were there. Blue maybe 2-3 breed the. Greenish blue, deep blue, sky blue, light brown, yellowish brown, and then everybody discussing, you know, and I was wondering what to take, है ना, because I knew it is Western world, you know, अभी मंदिर है तो फिर ज़्यादा सोचना नहीं पड़ता what to take, you know, है ना, ठीक है, राधा कृष्ण गुण सही नाम लिखो, प्रेम ठाकुर चैतन्य नेता है, कोई प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं है, ना, anything which is there you can just take it happily, but this Western world, Western people very dangerous, you know, so I was in a perplex and people were telling take, you know, in between they looking at me, not taking anything, take, you know. Now I was wondering, do क्या मैं, ना, मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, ना, अभी कौन सा ड्रिंक है, ना, अब एक दो तो समझ में आ रहे थे वाइन है, ना, they are like wine, you know, वो dark, वो black, you know, और dark brown, वो तो समझ में आ रहा था, लेकिन ये yellow, pink, blue, you know, ये क्या है, ना, so अब इंडिया में तो नहीं देखते हैं हम ऐसे येलो ग्रीन, ज़्यादा से रूह अफ़ज़ा देखते हैं, ना, और नींबू पानी देखते हैं, ना, और ज़्यादा, ना, आपने देखा है इस तरह के कलर्स, ना, मैं तो नहीं देखा, ना, because I was dumbfounded, ना, like that. Then this postdoc lady, she looked at me, you know, so she understood my dilemma. Actually, I was assigned to her, means I was supposed to work under her, therefore she was a little more, you know, she was my in charge, no. So she was a little more, overseeing me. So she was time to time looking that this fellow is okay or not, you know. So she understood my problem, you know. The postdocs, no, can understand, you know. So she analyzed my problem, you know. So then she said, you are wondering what to take. Do you want hard or soft? You know, she asked, you know. Then I understood, अच्छा terminology दे दिया है ना, hard soft, you know. I said no, soft, you know. Nothing hard, soft, you know. Then she said, oh, you want soft, huh? None of these are soft. I got the shock of my life. None of them were soft. Hello? Then she said, you want soft? We have to specially order for you. Hello? Hello? Like that. She was an Australian, you know. So I said, okay, you know. So then she said 4 or 5 names, you know. Only one I could understand, you know. Fortunately, mercifully, one name was in my dictionary, you know. That was lemonade. I said, lemonade. Lemonade. This is from Melbourne University experience. Like that, huh? So, can you imagine, you know? So, why there are so many shades and so many grades and so many flavors? Because of this kind of $1 million competition, you know? So, Australia excels in that, you know? So the whole point is that there is so much of energy, but in which direction it is being used? In which direction it is being used? I remember in the very first one there was a conference in which more than 150 researchers has come. That was a bigger group. Everybody, you know, in the R council, you know, that. The bigger group in the, that was our team only, 100 researchers, means 100, there was around 200 people, you know, like that. There were 40-50 research principal investigators, then that means 80 postdocs, and that means 300 PhDs, you know. That big was a group. And then in that they were talking about some of the passwords who were returning. Now these passwords had made a $1 million company, you know, startup, you know. वो स्टार्टअप क्या था? It was a very sleek startup on this quantum physics and all that. क्या था startup में? So they were using lasers. So what they were doing? The startup, you know, very powerful idea, you know, and they were like, it's everybody was seeing them as hero, you know. These 8 guys had come and they were making a presentation how they are, you know, rocking it and what is the product and all that. So they had made with lasers what they were doing. So there is this barrel of wine. So the laser will go on that, or pass through that, or deflect, or whatever, you know. And by that, by throwing laser on the barrel of wine, they will be able to give the freshness index of wine. High intensive, hardcore quantum physics is involved in this, you know. Spectroscopy, microscopy in its full is involved in it, you know. उसके बाद इलेक्ट्रॉनिक सर्किटरी, उसके बाद प्रोग्रामिंग, है ना. लेकिन किसके लिए? So this is the problem with modern day science. directionlessness. Anything, everything. So that is why we will see, now this is the very reason we will see when the society becomes atheistic, materialistic, this is what happens. When the second and third dimensions are not added, then the efforts are not at all worthy. But therefore you will see, even in hardcore physics, fundamental physics, now gone are the days, the last century we used to see some eureka kind of, mind-boggling innovation, invention or discovery, which turns the face of the world. That used to happen in 1900s. In 1905, Einstein made the photoelectric effect, and then he made the specific theory of relativity, general theory of relativity. Mind-boggling, is it not? And then the mass energy equivalence, he didn't got a Nobel Prize for that, he got a Nobel Prize for photoelectric effect. But then from classical domains to quantum mechanics was a mind-boggling, world-changing, game-changing discovery. Quantum mechanics, matrix mechanics, so many things came out. The last such game-changing innovation happened in 1960s. Probably the last guy was Richard Feynman. Who discovered the quantum electrodynamics. After that, there is no any much punch innovation which is going on in the world. Where is innovation going on in fundamental physics after this? Nowadays, they give Nobel Prize for any technological invention also. Like for lithium-ion batteries, the Nobel Prize was given. So where is quantum mechanics, discovery of quantum mechanics? That's one level of where Nobel Prize was given. Just imagine, the invention of the crafting of quantum mechanics, from classical domain of the world, the reality perception of the world changes to quantum, like that. Where is that and where is lithium-ion battery? Will lithium-ion battery the Nobel Prize winner? Because start telling, now going further, you see last year Nobel Prize in Physics and Nobel Prize in Chemistry, so both are given on AI. Yeah. So Nobel Prize Physics also is the guy who used AI to discover something and to explain something, and when AI की usage पे Nobel Prize मिल रहा है, Gone are the days it used to be Nobel Prize, अभी तो किसी को मिल जाता है. Just be in America, you will get it. Isn't that? So we see nowadays the funding for theoretical physics is the same as the funding for philosophy. So this is where we see that there is directionlessness. So similarly, we see it's just like Srila Prabhupada explains that, say for example, a hawk or an eagle, a hawk and eagle can fly very high, It has telescopic vision, telescopic vision. It can fly hundreds of feet high and it can see a very minute detail on the ground. So therefore the hawk may be flying like that. All of a sudden the hawk will scoop, zoop, it will come down, not dive, and it will just pounce on something, a rat or something, and go up. उसको कैसे पता लगा rat दिखाई दिया? Telescopic vision it has, It was a gift of God. But Prabhupada says that you see this hawk, it is having such a great power. What a power, what a skill, But what is that skill used for? Very degraded activity, to find out dead carcasses. Is it? Dead carcasses. To such a colossal waste. Similarly, modern science is like that. Lot of power. किधर use हो रहा है इसको? Its usage is in a wrong direction. One of the Nobel laureates, he says that today's world, 90% of scientific research is only happening, and innovation and invention and progress is only happening in two areas. More than 90%. One is warfare, the second is consumerism. And he says that this is the shabby state of affairs of this world. I'm very sorry to say, science has drifted from its goal of helping the humanity, bringing about the welfare of humanity. Because everything is happening in the direction of warfare or consumerism. That's all. Scientific research is not at all unbiased. It is 100%, 1000% biased. Science is not an exploration of an innocent exploration of the gifts which God has given to make the humanity better. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Because so it's not unbiased. It's completely biased. And who biases it? Industry. Because scientific research needs money. And where does the money come from? The money comes from the industry. So the industry gives money for what? For making the humanity better? No. For making their product better. So that they can make from $1 million they can become $1 billion, and $1 billion they can go to $1 trillion. Is it not? Completely biased. So when industry gives money for a particular research, with the money they set the direction of research. कि अभी क्या research होना है? What research has to take place is set by the industry, and all researchers have to forced to work in that direction. Is it not? Where money flows, that is where they have to put their heads and make it up. Like I was telling about our lab. So there's nothing spiritual in that. It was a lab on alternative energy to produce solar technology. I mean this what is that? Photoelectric. To produce solar energy. I mean to tap and harness solar energy with the scalable way. So silicon wafers are there, but they are very costly, so they are not scalable. होता है ना कुछ लोग एक शो के लिए लगा देते हैं चलो solar cell panels like that, but it's not scalable. The whole world needs cannot be, it will be very costly. So the whole goal was to come up with some cheaper alternative, maybe organic, maybe perovskites, maybe quantum dots, so different tracks for researching on different lanes like that. Somebody is manufacturing, somebody is experimenting, somebody is modeling, somebody is simulating, like that. So all that 500 researchers team, PhDs, postdocs, like that. So why? Because there is a funding in that direction. Again. अब कई बार लोग बोलते हैं when we talk about spirituality कि भाई तुम्हारे spirituality में research क्यों नहीं होता है ना? कहाँ है research research उधर ही होता है जिधर पैसा देते हैं और किधर इसे था. So ऐसा नहीं कि भगवान के बारे में प्रूफ मिल नहीं सकता है कोई करता नहीं है उस डायरेक्शन में रिसर्च, कोई फंडिंग नहीं है उधर. That's the only reason. There's no other reason. So before the starting of the research, the end goal of the research is decided. The research is completely biased. So therefore, the person who is funding is atheistic. So he won't let atheistic research come out. Is it not? It's as simple as that. So this is where we see that there is purposelessness, there is directionlessness in science. So direct from the Shastras, from the scriptures, and that can only come when we upgrade our perception to the second dimension of reality, which is Atma Tattva, the third dimension of reality, which is the third dimension of reality, the Super Soul or God. So Lord Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita that knowledge means to know matter, to know spirit, and the controller of both. That is God. So real MSc degree in knowledge one can only get when one knows these three: matter, spirit, and controller of both. That is the real MSc. So at least be an MSc qualified. Expert in the knowledge of matter, knowledge of spirit, and the controller of both. That is Jagannath Swami. So that's called as knowledge. So now we come to, so when there is complete ignorance of the second and third dimension, then what happens is that one is very much loitering on a plane where one doesn't have any control. So then it is a very abrupt plane. Now abruptly something will happen and one has no control over it. All of a sudden some misery will befall, one has no control over it. तो control तो second or third dimension में है, जो हमको आता नहीं. Then what we can do? So suffering is very acute. We can see that in quantum mechanics science. Quantum mechanics science is very much focused on effects, not cause. It doesn't go in the causal plane. Very much focused on effects. जैसे फिजिक्स में हम लोग फोर्सेस पढ़ते हैं फिजिक्स में, और होता है ना एक डायग्राम बनाया होता है कि फोर्स ऐसा है ऐसा है ऐसा है ऐसा है ना. अभी नेट रिजल्ट क्या होगा बताओ? क्या ये ऑब्जेक्ट डिफॉर्म होगा, क्या इसमें टॉर्शन होगा, स्ट्रेस होगा, है ना, या फिर ये घूमेगा, या इसका मोशन का ट्रैजेक्टरी का लोकस बताओ, है ना. इस तरह की प्रॉब्लम्स होते हैं, इज इट नॉट? तो गिवन अ सिचुएशन वी कैन वेरी नाइसली कैलकुलेट, नो, इसके ऊपर नेट फोर्स कितना है, अभी इसके साथ क्या होने वाला है, टूटने वाला है, इसके ऊपर शियर होने वाला है, इसको स्ट्रेस होने वाला है, इसका डिफॉर्मिटी आने वाला है, या ये घूमेगा या फूटेगा, या क्या होगा इसका, ना, या मेरे सर के ऊपर आने वाला है, मतलब जो भी, ना. So all those, no, we can map, we can visualize, we can give full, no, very ingenious calculations we can do, no, is it not? लेकिन एक सिंपल सी बात है, forces do not exist on their own, do they? क्या forces अपने आप से आ जाती हैं? Forces never exist on their own. अभी force exert करने के लिए some spirit or super spirit is required. Soul or super soul is required to exert some force. Okay. So we take for example, this mobile is lying here. If nobody touches it, will it continue to lie here? Yes, is it not? If we don't touch it, for after next week also it will lie here only, and the laptop will also lie here only. Yeah, I will not lie because I will get up and go. So it will lie here only, is it not? Even next year you come for VTW, STW will be here only. वो हटेगा कैसे? इनर्जी है ना, तो इधर ही रहेगा, स्टैटिक है. Only if somebody moves it. If I pick it up, it comes here. If I drop it, it goes here. Is it not? If I pick it up, put it here, it goes here. है ना? So अब वो फोर्स वेक्टर जिसकी वजह से वो इधर से इधर आए, वो ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है या मैं ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट हूँ? As a person, as a mover, as a person, this is something to be understood. We जैसे क्या है, suppose family, husband wife are there, now husband is sitting in the drawing room, the husband is watching TV on the flat screen, like that, and he is obsessed, like that. And wife is saying something is not hearing, Now wife is very angry. Wife is very angry. वो anger होने से क्या होता है? Lot of physics questions come. A lot of dynamics problems get shooted up, The wife is angry now. She's hot, And because she is hot, तो अंदर से क्या होगा? इधर से तो कोई pillow आएगा, The pillow will come on this person, Now he is a physicist, So he's seeing that this pillow is coming, what velocity, what this, and then how I should dodge from it and where it will land, whether it will land on me, am I in danger of this or that, whatever, So ठीक है, वो equation कर दिया, and so he has made combat strategies. ठीक है, pillow इधर से आएगा, तो I have to take this action. Pillow उधर से आएगा, I have to take that action. तो full physics, this thing, तो अभी क्या होगा, after some time चकला will come. पिल्लो नहीं आएगा, चकला आएगा, ऐसे ऐसे रिवॉल्व करते हुए, रोटेशनल डायनामिक्स, लगाते रहोगे फिजिक्स पे. Is it not? Right? अब ये क्या फिजिक्स का प्रॉब्लम है? ये क्या फिजिक्स का प्रॉब्लम है ना? ये क्या फोर्स इक्वेशन सॉल्व करने का प्रॉब्लम है? हाँ, मुझे बराबर पता है, ऐसा टॉर्क लग रहा है, ऐसा लग रहा है, ऐसा डिफॉर्मिटी होगा. ठीक है, ऑल द बेस्ट. Black eye, tooth, broken tooth. No, is it not? Right? So similarly, this world is not a problem of physics. क्योंकि फिजिक्स जो हम बोलते हैं वो तो इफेक्ट का प्लेन है. It is not the causal plane. Causal plane पे जब तक हम अपग्रेड नहीं होते हैं, we cannot solve, we can never solve the problem. we can never solve the problem. तो इसीलिए given a particular situation उसके साथ पुष्टि करने से कोई लाभ नहीं है. somebody will say अरे ये प्रॉब्लम आया था मन ऐसे करके उसका कचुपड़ा निकाल के आई बिकेम विक्टोरियस. अरे दोबारा आने वाला है माया शक्ति ने दूसरा है ना. लेकिन स्क्वॉश का गेम है, स्क्वॉश का है ना. स्क्वॉश होता है ना, स्क्वॉश. The person hits hard करके मारा उसने बॉल को ना. पर्सन से देखो देखा रू ना. अभी बॉल को मारा है आपने, क्या होगा? Maybe waving his racket, बॉल फिर से आके उसके सर पे लगेगा ना. Is it not? स्क्वॉश है ना. केवल मारने से क्या होगा? बॉल हटने वाला नहीं है. जितना जोर से मारेगा उतना जोर से वापस आएगा. अभी तो स्क्वॉश है. माया शक्ति स्क्वॉश नहीं है. माया शक्ति is not the squash ball that will just reciprocate with whatever frequency person is combating. माया शक्ति 10 times देती है, फिर 100 times देती है ना. This is the माया शक्ति, है ना. She does her service very nicely. So this is the point. तो फिजिक्स की ट्रैजेक्टरी इक्वेशन सिमुलेशन बनाते बैठने से कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. प्रॉब्लम्स इन लाइफ आर नॉट गोइंग टू एंड. जैसे हस्बैंड का प्रॉब्लम अभी पिल्लो को नो ही विल से आई हैव बीन विक्टोरियस इन द पिल्लो, नो कॉम्बैटिंग द पिल्लो. फिर चकला आ गया है ना. नो उसके बाद बेलन आएगा है ना. वो उसका ये आएगा ना. फिर पतीला आएगा ना. इज इट नॉट? आता ही रहेगा कुछ ना कुछ. इज इट नॉट? फिर डाइवोर्स का पेपर आएगा. खाना बनाना सीखा नहीं कभी. है कि नहीं? और डाइवोर्स के पेपर के बाद एक अल्टीमेटम आएगा इंडियन जुडिशरी सिस्टम से कि हर महीने 1 लाख रुपए आपको वाइफ के अकाउंट में डालना है और एज अ लंप सम बच्चों के भविष्य के लिए 2 करोड़ देना है. ऑल द बेस्ट. आएगा नहीं सर? कोई फिजिक्स की इक्वेशन से सॉल्व नहीं होगा ये ना. सॉल्व कैसे होगा? दिस पर्सन हैज टू गेट आउट. दिस पर्सन हैज टू bow down to the lady. Seek forgiveness for the wrongs he has done. Be more empathetic. Vaishnav quality से solve होगा. That is why we are discussing 18 items of knowledge. Because they are possible. They can change the situation. है ना? So modern physics simply hovers around the plane of the effect plane. Causal dimension में नहीं understanding उसका. Causal dimension there is no understanding. So this is the point. So like for example quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics, the founders of quantum mechanics say that this is such a weird science that this science knows more than its inventors. Science knows more than its inventors. Therefore, Richard Feynman says that if somebody thinks that he is an expert of quantum mechanics, at least he has not understood quantum mechanics at all. If somebody says I know quantum mechanics, मतलब उसको बिल्कुल नहीं आता है. Because quantum mechanics is such a weird science. It is more knowledgeable than its inventors. Means what? The founders of quantum mechanics they say that we know that it works, but none of us know why it works. काम करता है, पता है. क्यों काम करता है, नहीं पता. This is what is quantum mechanics. Like say for example, quantum mechanics में एक principle है quantum entanglements. Quantum entanglement क्या होता है? Love at first sight. Love at first sight. Infatuation. तो infatuation मतलब love story भी हो सकता है, hate story भी हो सकता है ना. तो होता है ना. तो अभी सबएटॉमिक पार्टिकल है, मान लो इलेक्ट्रॉन है, तो उसका स्पिन होता है ना, स्पिन अप स्पिन डाउन है ना. तो दोनों का एंटेंगलमेंट हो गया है ना. लव एट फर्स्ट साइट हो गया है ना. सपोज पॉजिटिव एंटेंगलमेंट हो गया ना. तो क्या होगा? If one electron is spin up, तो दूसरा भी spin up हो जाएगा. If one electron goes spin down, तो दूसरा भी spin down हो जाएगा. इसको ऊपर करो, ये भी ऊपर हो जाता है. इसको नीचे करो, वो भी नीचे हो जाता है ना. Like that. So sometimes it's like this, है ना. ये principle है, ना, quantum entanglement का. ऐसा ना behavior में भी देखते हैं. Sometimes many times our book distributors, you know, they go for book distribution. तो कई बार क्या रहता है? कपल रहता है. यदि young couple रहता है, then the principle is never show the Gita to the boy. कोई फायदा नहीं है. नो गो बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन. अभी बॉय गर्ल है ना, पार्टनर्स हैं, हस्बैंड वाइफ है या ना बॉयफ्रेंड गर्लफ्रेंड है, पता नहीं है ना, जो भी है, नेवर शो गीता टू द बॉय. क्यों? क्या होगा? आप एफर्ट डालेंगे, बॉय कन्विंस होगा, है ना, एंड हिज गर्लफ्रेंड और मदर जी ना वाइफ विल से नहीं छोड़ो, है ना, तो आपका एफर्ट गया पानी में, नहीं मिलेगा, है ना? आप कितना भी बोलो नहीं लेने वाले हो, है ना? तो किसको दिखाना है बुक? शो इट टू द लेडी, है ना? है ना? इफ द लेडी सेज यस, 1000 रुपए का नोट निकल के आएगा तुरंत, ना? आप एक के साथ 2 और भी डाल सकते हैं, प्रॉब्लम नहीं है ना?